Good morning, FlatsClass YouTube fans. Captain CA here, and this morning we're gonna do a tour of my shop back there. Something a little different. If you're new to the channel, this channel typically teaches you how to become a much better inshore fisherman. It's all about everything from strategies for saltwater fish like redfish and snook and tarpon and speckled trout, to some of our podcasts and our shows, our television shows. And every once in a while, it's about tackle organization. And that's what today's all about, is tackle organization. That's why I'm wearing the BUZBE hat. So without further ado, let's walk inside the shop and let me show you around. Some of you who've been watching the channel in the month of January knew that I've been tearing the shop apart. And I kind of do that every January because I just like to take the old out, put the new back in. But this January I went a little bit overboard. Typically it only takes me about 10 days. It took me about 3 weeks to get this together. So let's go take a look. Okay, I'm gonna say this. My shop is actually a house. It's separate from our main house, and it allows me to, well, supposedly stay very, very organized. I do have the barn and my boat shed out there, but this allows me to do lots of videos and work, and the overall view of the shop itself. You can see that there's a ton of tackle in here. I promise I'm really not that big a hoarder, but we do a lot of the videos. If you've been watching the show, you know that this shop is kind of video central for me. So over here on this wall, I have a couple of racks. Most of that stuff is Yeti storage or coolers. And you're going to notice there's a theme with Yeti coolers. They're kind of everywhere, from the V2 up there, and I've got them stashed everywhere. I think every shop has to have a television set. We've got a Fire Stick, so we watch a lot of YouTube while we're in here. A couple of rod racks. I really got this cool beer keg stool from a buddy of mine over at the Florida Cracker. This is basically a light stand here that we use. Give you a little wider view. In this zone, I've got all these totes, and I label them all so that I know what's in them, from maps and charts, believe it or not, non-sponsored baits, floats, boat stuff, you know, Yeti products like drinkware and whatnot, soft jerk baits, Mirrolure baits, soft swim baits, crustacean profiles. This little bench here, you've seen me do lots of videos on it. A little bit of terminal tackle. I don't want to have to dig through stuff to find things, so I do a lot of stuff in front of this, and naturally I've got tons of tools and whatnot in here. The heat gun thing, if you haven't seen that, you should. That's the way you save a lot of Z-Man baits that get a little bit misshapen. Over here I've got a wall on a rack. Behind that, there are a lot of totes behind this. And it's just stuff that I don't need to get to. So I went ahead and screwed a pegboard on it, believe it or not. And by putting that pegboard on there, it allowed me to organize all my Mirrolures and Paul Brown baits. Then as I move over here, this is a miscellaneous rack below the AC unit. It's got everything from pictures and articles to fly fishing stuff. Some reels that need service. Some have been serviced, some haven't. Some old miscellaneous line. Here's a pic from the past. Check that out. That's Evinrude team from 2004. You'll find some Hall of Fame personalities in there, like Larry Nixon, Guido Hibden, David Walker. There's some big names. Greg and Brian Watts, Denny Brower, Davey Height. Lisa Fitzgerald, who's actually in the Florida Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame. So you'll see a lot of guys, Tommy Scarless, Gary Dobbins, who's got his own rod company, and too many for me to really name, but kind of a cool deal there. As I come over to this rack here, and I'm still wide for you guys, you'll notice that I have a lot of BUZBE containers. Some of them are empty and some of them are full of product. But it's just, it's one of those things where I have so many tackle boxes, I felt obligated to put that little sign up right there. All right, let's move over to this bench. All right, over here, another area that's busy with organization from all kinds of Z-Man terminal tackle, a little bit of Mustad stuff. I got a charging station that I built here. Some regular live bait hooks and inline hooks for lures. Extra basically compartment boxes for my honeycomb system that's set up on the BUZBE. Put a lot of miscellaneous stuff in here. Here's some lures from the past. Man, I bet you haven't seen this one in a while. This is an old 38 Mirrolure, and it's one of the newer 38 Mirrolures, but it's been a long time since this one's been out. And then this old golden-eyed Maverick here. Boy, that used to be one of my favorite snook baits. But overall, lots of the some of the smaller profiles, and a couple of my bass baits in here, chatter baits, spinner baits, things like that, frogs. The goat bodies are in here. A couple of split tail grubs, some of the TRD spins. And then I moved up to some crustacean profiles over here. One of the profiles I'm really excited about this year is this little 3.3 Mullitron. I think you guys are gonna really like that bait. I'm gonna have a video coming out on that very soon. Do a lot of reel cleaning here. As you can see, I've got my cleanse oil out. But just overall, you know, just stuff that I have sitting out here. These bins I picked up at Lowe's. They come really handy. I used to separate them in gear ratios and whatnot, slow, medium, and fast. But I decided to put the smaller spinners at the bottom, the bigger spinners at the top, and the bait casters in the middle. And it seems to work for me. All right, moving right along to this bench now. Let's talk about this one. Okay, this bench I have a couple of the bigger coolers on, and as you can see, I've got a sodium stool here, so I work at this bench quite a bit, changing out hooks. I've got a little spooling station here that I made up. I put it in my vise, and it works out really good. You can buy these on these little deals here on Amazon for pennies. I took one of the broken rods. I don't even know who makes this rod, but I made it so that I could use it as a spooling rod. Pretty cool. I just hang it on a little hook here, and when I need it, I've got it to just spool stuff up. So you'll notice I'm a big labeler too. All right, on the workbench, lots of diamond fishing products. A lot of my big swim baits. I'm a big bait fan. I love throwing the bigger baits, so I pull most of the product off this wall. Over here, I've really been going through my spoons, and I'm still setting up all my bug stuff. Some of the reels that I'm testing or changing lines on and stuff, I put them right in this zone right here. You'll see a lot of Shimano, some Daiwa stuff, and then I've got most of my diamond product here that I spool with. It's just a good workstation, and every bench has to have a gram scale. This is how you know what your baits actually weigh. This is a catch-all corner here. I just got my new blade in from Power Pole, so that's going to be sent off for my boat being built. We're going to talk about this table next. This is almost like a sorting table. This is stuff that just came in from my truck and my boat from a recent fishing trip. We were out filming down in the Florida Keys, and Yeti had sent me a package, so that's just sitting there. I've got to go through that yet. This is the table that you see when the door is down. We do a lot with this light kit here, and we shoot a lot of videos at this table now. Naturally, I've got some stuff coming up on that Daiwa ballistic there, some BUZBE baits. Here's some more of that stuff I was telling you about. The TRD gobies is another video that's coming, but this Mullitron is definitely coming soon. We love having the fish tank in here. We can do a lot of stuff on showing the real huge advantages of LazTech and the Z-Man product. Plus it really shows off the bugs baits as well. But again, I've got another keg chair here. Thank you, Blair Hensley from the Florida Cracker. This is probably my handiest deal. This is a cart that I use for sorting. If you've ever wondered what you do with all those loose jig heads, all those loose extra wide gap hooks, split rings, everything, I sort them in bins and I have them labeled here. Just a catch-all thing, and that way they're just not laying on benches anymore. When I come in, all the lures are in this tub from the day of fishing. After they're rinsed off, I pull them out of here and I put them on this drying towel. The drying towel allows me to sort them and then put them over here, which then I can reuse them or replace the hooks or whatever I need to do. This has been one of my most valuable ideas for staying organized. It's worked fantastic. I picked this thing up over at Harbor Freight and it's been absolutely wonderful. Then I've got a couple of rod racks that feature mostly I've got some old Shimano rods back there, but these are all my Fitzgerald rods. In fact, I've been going through these and starting to put labels on them, what I like them for the best. So I'm anxious about showing you guys the benefits of being with a company that understands artificial lures. But overall, when you took the wide scan of this whole room, there's a lot of floor space. You got to remember, this is a 24 by 30 garage, and it is all, I mean, all fishing tackle, basically. All right, we're gonna go through this door next and go see the studio part of the shop. All right, just passing through, this is the bathroom. It actually has a full shower, okay? And this bathroom is fairly clean most of the time because I'm the only one in here using it. And then, you know, we naturally have a few things that are a little bit humorous. I always find this one not only humorous, but fairly accurate. If you hear these phrases used or terms used by your girlfriend, your wife, heed them wisely. All kidding aside. Now we're in the shop, and maybe we'll start back here in the back and then work our way up here to the front door, okay? That'll be the smart thing to do. Okay, I just got a shipment of Papa's Pilar rum from my good buddy, Mike Myatt. So I have not put that up here on my bar. Yes, I have a bar here in my shop, and this is kind of where I hang out with my buddies when it's a rainy day and we're not fishing. We've got the beer fridge here, if I can get into it. Move that rum. Keep a couple of brews in there. It's running a little low when we drink all the water, it would seem. You know, again, it's not super cluttered, but it's somewhat organized. But you know, the artwork and stuff that we have in here, and some old memorabilia from the old days up here on the top. Some of my good buds over the years. I use this rack here to really kind of dry stuff out, keep it warm, keep it from being mildewed in the main shop. Everything is climate controlled in this shop, so I am fortunate that way. And the floors are tiled. Over here, cabinets with drinkware and whatnot. These are some old picks here. I mean, some really old picks. That trout there, almost 32 inches long, almost. Remember, I'm 6'5". That was from a long, long time ago. A nice hat from, signed hat from old Stu Apt. Some trophy stuff and awards we've won in the past. Another light box here that controls the light. I apologize for all the shadow in here. Here's the actual wall, if you will, of all of our, you know, where you see me do a lot of the filming. So it actually, my table is a Pilar rum barrel. Thank you, Kyle Cooper from Papa's Pilar, for providing me that. Very, very nice. You'll see a lot of our loyal partners to the show over the years, like Power Pole and Sodium and Z-Man, featured here. Pilar Rum, Paul Brown. But this is actually where we do everything, right here at the table. So you've seen me do a million videos here, or I should say 850 or so, because that's how many we have on this channel. Here's a new add to the shop this January, and I put a piece of pegboard in here so that would be easy for me to display stuff. We're also kicking off a brand new enterprise called FlatsClass University. So a lot of FlatsClass University is going to be taught right here. And then I've got another rod rack in here with a couple of Fitzgerald rods, getting ready for the new season of that. Over here I've got a table, and it's still a little dusty in here, but you know, just some memorabilia in here, old Zebco 202s and some ambassador reels that I grew up on, some old stuff I've collected over the years, old Mirrolures, some old pictures of my dad and grandfather who were big time fishermen. Some new stuff from Mirrolure. They put out an old vintage collection, so I'm collecting them now. And just some old cut sheets from the past, from Clark Spoons and whatnot, an old Mitchell 308. Had one of those forever back in the day. A young man who's a guide now, Stephen Fluke Jr., he actually provided me with this belt buckle, and I put it in here almost as a piece of memorabilia. Some old stuff from the old Vero Beach Shallow Water Expos, and I'm reorganizing this box here. But I've got Clark Spoons in this one. I like to collect a lot of stuff, lures from Florida. The old Flowering Florio, a couple of old Mirrolures there. I'm gonna get my Power Pole pros over time to sign this for me so that I can have it in there. A rod my son had built for me one Christmas. He does some nice things for me. I don't think I'd be where I am right now if it weren't for Cam helping me so much. Here's a neat piece. This gentleman here, Bob, from Vardo Knives, he actually made me this knife. And then he wrote me this beautiful letter and sent me the coin and all. And I felt so honored that he took that much time to do this for me that I decided to display it in the shop. So I tell that story quite often. Some old team shirts. Yes, I was a tournament angler at one time for about almost 11 years, 11 or 12 years. So I have some of those up here on the high part of the wall. And my buddy Mike Kirkhart, he's made us several of these mounts over the years. And if you ever want to get a mount made, I'm going to tell you right now, go to New Age Taxidermy there in Stuart, Florida. It's the only place. But basically, this is the entire studio. I'm guessing square feet wise, I probably got about 200 square feet in here. So the shop is really the big deal when you go through that door over there. All right, let's go out the front door. Okay, here's my front door. Yes, I have probably a very inappropriate sign up here for the young and innocent, so we're not going to show the entire, the complete word that is in the middle of the sentence. Here I've got a whiskey barrel that I bought. Little piling, little fish art stuff here. I'm getting ready to tile this porch, thinking about using this material so it looks a lot like a dock. Fortunately for me, my driveway backs up to my garage. My daughter made this, my daughter Jasmine made this tarpon for me when she was doing some welding stuff, so turned out really nice. But overall, I know that I am very fortunate to have a shop as nice as this. I really am. So that's it. Why did I show it off today? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It was a hell of a lot of work to put that thing together, even in that semblance of organization. All of you know, if you're anglers, especially if you're tournament guys or if you're fishing guides, that it is so hard to keep this stuff set up just the way you need it, so everything you have is in an arm's reach away. It's just tough to do because you get busy, you get back, you start piling stuff up. And I can tell you the one thing that is going to save me in 2024 with this shop is that little sorting cart and that front table that you see, because I don't put anything anywhere else but those two places. That way the rest of the shop stays nice and neat. Hey, hope you enjoyed the little tour today. I know it was something a lot different than I normally do. If you did enjoy it, give me that thumbs up. Please like this and subscribe. I want to be your inshore authority for salt water. So let's go. Let's have a great 2024. I feel organized. Hopefully you're going to get inspired and be organized too. And let's go catch some fish together.